I'm in Pets and Animals trying to show a series of ideas that I have. And so again, I'm documenting history of my dog. He was for my granddaughter here. My granddaughter's name was Emery Rose. And a book I'm going to give my granddaughter was my commentary on the origin of the species by means of natural selection by Charles Darwin. And I'm going to give that to my granddaughter to study with my personal study notes as she learns how to write. And her and I, work together on the written language, and we decide on her education because we have an incorrect education system. It no longer teaches our children how to write. It teaches our children how to write the myths and legends that we ask them to retain for us. And we asked, I'm finding that my dedicating this to my Maxwell, my little dog, has opened me up into this new paradigm of how I can use my dog to calculate Earth history. And I'm doing this for us to all consider together. Did I calculate Earth history with my dog? I think I did. The what I found wrong with Earth history using my dog is we retained on this internet the the theory of evolution, which is great apes inventing writing 500 years after another theory. James Escher has any validity for our church systems rather than something that we'd have to use the internet to turn off. James Escher, how could we use the internet to turn off the James Escher chronology? Not even tell our children. Because what we need our children to do, now that mommy and daddy are grown up and have all of their consequences, look at all the pictures our children have been taught in school, is kind of what I think is God's purpose of just making this a simple pull out the Bible from everyone and say, what did your children learn in school? What I did not learn in school was how to read the Bible. I didn't actually learn how to read the Bible. I learned how to operate within what the Bible commanded me to do, told me to do. And I learned that. But what I've found is that is such a shallow record of having learned it. The Bible itself is only an empty shell of us learning it wrong in Earth history. Us actually picking up a medieval manuscript and learning it wrong in Earth history is the best I can say. So, us having picked up a medieval manuscript, we could have learned a little bit of Earth history. I'm trying to unveil for gotquestions.org what their website looks like to me when I'm explaining on Facebook and on YouTube and whatnot. It is actually the same as when I was at Auschwitz. Oh, where's the chambers? Yeah, when I walked through Auschwitz, trying to read and look at and understand what we did with gotquestions.org is we kept our legends of our appropriate sermons. And so, having kept legends of our appropriate sermons, I'm asking you, Mr. Swagger, to understand that you became a legend after that with your medieval magic proof Bible. You having become a medieval magic proof legend, I need to explain. This is on the Dalai Lama. We kind of already liked him. However, East and West, East and West, East and West, the union between the East and the West is through the form of mysticism. I'm saying, no, you guys are entirely wrong. I can use this form of mysticism that I've studied for 22 years to actually capture you personally as a heresy hunter, because we're both heretics. You and I are the same, Mr. Schreier. We are actually the same. However, different kinds of the same we're the same heretics. So I'm looking at the same post-Holocaust dialogues. I am really in World War II. I am personally in World War II, taking us, okay, that was the Cold War, yes, and that is me smelling Auschwitz, yes, that is the burning of the Jews, yes, and yes, that is the burning of the Jews. In historical reference to how gotquestions.org is actually a fragrant aroma to a German who kind of liked that. But I'm a German who kind of liked it and said it smelled pretty, but I hung my head in shame that we did it, to be honest. So me being a German that hung my head in shame that we did that, I'm going to explain to you, you should hang your head in shame, because the Communist Manifesto was written by Moses type. You should hang your head in shame, because God and Moses did speak face to face, and all I need is the Communist Manifesto. And you already knew that, for a world without end, for what we were looking for what we're asking us to do. What is this? The Book of Order. I have a medieval church here, the Constitution of the Presbyterian Church, 2007, 2009, without a James Escher warning. I don't even know if this church bought James Escher or not. So that's something I don't have. Yet we have a Book of Order and a medieval, I didn't calculate curriculum, and a medieval request. So turn the Bible off. I need to know who miscalculated Earth history to see where else you broke out. The directory for worship, the text, we're turning the Bible off as medieval. This is all the data of what you missed out on. It's what did you mistake? The Bhagavad Gita, for example, what did you mistake? How did you break something here? Let's find out. The most intelligent men in society are the saints and sages who have sacrificed everything for the service of spiritual culture. So the culture we built with we have to accept everything, and just even to the point where we accepted the culture where we were forced by NASA scientists to accept that great apes grew up to become us. Is why did we get cursed with that? We actually were cursed with that, Mr. Swag. That curse came from the Quran. This is a medieval thing that I'm tapping you on your shoulders, and don't make a big deal about it. Don't even tell our kids. They didn't notice we were medieval either, and it's kind of cool. We get to teach them something new. One might wonder just how established one's own awareness truly is. Test it. Does the body's unending violence touch you, Mr. Swagger? Does touching anything of the world overshadow your serenity? How familiar are you with Alcoholics Anonymous, for example, and the Serenity Prayer? Do you use it like an alcoholic does? Because you're kind of symptoms of an alcoholic. Do you hate or resent anyone or any class of beings like us Jews? And I'm not a Jew, I'm a German. Why are we talking about human fertility and a lost record in Earth history? And my partner's calling me, or my dad. Excuse me. Hello? Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. I was thinking about you. How are you? Um, yeah. Let me in my wallet. Let me updated the. Okay. But let me see. No, thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. No, I plan on being there. It's just something. No, we actually need to legitimately sit down and discuss that, and I'll explain why. But that's an actual sit down and legitimately discuss because nobody is willing to. Yeah. What? Let me ask you. So, would you do me a favor when you go to the stake leadership? Would you write down the prophetic statements because that's what I'm talking about? We have no validation of those, so I'd like to know what was said, and I don't have access to that. And so, because I don't know what was, okay, is back online. Okay, which of the sites? Did, okay, the Church of Jesus Christ.org. I'll you don't go by LDS anymore. Yeah. So that back in the day, they because of the naming convention, they had the misunderstood understanding that Mormons did not believe in Christ. Is that's something I've not heard? So because of the name, so we put in the Church of the Latter Day Saints at the okay, okay. I see nicknamed. I've never once had somebody ask me that because I always approach with the Bible. Why would I not believe in Christ if I'm witnessing to a Christian? Yep. Okay, thank you. Churchesjesuschrist.org. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for the thank I'll talk to you soon. It's been more laziness, to be honest. It's been my bad. Do I get out? Yeah. So what are the two ward sessions now? We have the General Assembly, and then what's the second one? Which did we keep? 2 hour church? Yeah. Sacrament. Mm-hmm. So that's the Sunday school portion. Oh, so we limited it by an hour, then we cut them in half and split them week to week, is what we did there. Study books and things. Got ya. I like that. Okay, okay, I'll let you go because you're working, but that's something that we need to do the home study stuff together, is what I just heard you say. Okay, understood. Okay, okay, all right. Hey, thank you. All right, bye. So that was a weird phone call, to be honest. Friend who joined that was a Mormon, not a missionary, a Mormon friend who I have attended their Mormon church with, and so I freely talk about it. So a resistance to talk about the church is no. We shall be listening to this prophet who's not a prophet. We shall. She would not listen. She refused to discuss the validity of the breaking point of what I was trying to get her to do. Collect what you think he said and confirm it. And that's what what I was taught to do. Collect, and they're not doing that. They're just taking it blanketly, blap. And I couldn't even discuss. So it's this mesmeronic state of instability in the equally bad and equally true cult of the Mormon Church. It's 50-50 immediate with the eyes wide shut, 50-50 immediate. When you compare the Jimmy Swaggart Bible beside the contribution of the legitimate prophet Joseph Smith and the illegitimate prophet who's there, not talking about having his validation of his quote unquote prophetic statements, which are all wrong. There is no one coming behind everything that cleaned it up like we were told to. So I did that for you. I need us to go to the Mormon church and accept the prophecies of Joseph Smith as we got a 50-50. And our calling it a cult was the 50-50%, maybe. And us rejecting it was the 50-50% we fucked up. We would understand the Bible without being baptized Mormon. You do not understand the Bible with James Escher. That division, if you are not baptized Mormon and baptized James Escher, you do not understand either sets of books. If you do not participate in ritual hand washing like Jesus instructed us, you do not understand the Mosaic Code. You don't understand that the Mosaic Code was God could close your eyes to what you're looking at, and did close your eyes in order to demonstrate that he could put you in pulpits if he wanted to, with the mystical magic sermon that itself told you did not happen, which is an on and off with the rest of it. It's every verse is an off verse for the 6,000 year teaching, as I'm trying to explain to you. Every single verse ping pongs out somewhere else to an off that I have to demonstrate to you, an off and off and off. The off to NASA is Genesis 1:9 is the creation story. NASA misinterpreted history with Darwin. The off to that is NASA misinterpreted the Earth history with Darwin because we didn't keep record. 500 years. This NASA, with a 500 year, the church systems did not keep record of how it erased Earth history between October 23, 4004 BC and the year 2020, erasing all of its little scribble oopses. Is that we have to pick it up and clean it up behind ourselves in order to get the big picture reality. We have no big picture reality other than we're in the year 2020 and teach the children a theory. Christians have no big picture reality. Because Christians have no big picture reality, I'm talking with the Mormon. I believe in Adam and Eve, but I can't talk to him. Well, no, I can't even talk to a Mormon because it's not coming from the prophet. I can't talk to a NASA scientist because I'm not published. I can't talk to the president because I'm a peon in Washington State. I can't talk to my executive leadership because I'm retired. I can't talk to the Post. I can't talk to Washington. I can't do anything. It's a kind of a neat thing. I can't do anything. So I'm just reaching out to you. The only thing we can do together is say, let's use our Sparky's program. That's James Usher gets Sparky rehabilitation, resuscitation. Let's not lose James Usher. We lost everything else, is what it actually is. We lost everything else by getting everything else wrong. And collate, when did we buy James Usher and go back in Earth history to the beginning? In the beginning, we kept James Usher. In the end, we received a correction because that's all that's in the Bible. It's a reception of, therefore, eyes wide shut, we did not look at the legitimate age of the Earth. I need to actually reach out and explain to NASA scientists how we erased God from the Bible because we invalidated ourselves. Through this invalidation and accidental misuse, we could delude ourselves to come up with $22 trillion in debt. We're sorry, Mr. President Trump. Yes, we did that for you. We're going to use this website to teach our Sparkies to never let it happen again, and why we're going to instruct them to learn a whole lot more about Neolithica. We are in a Neolithic reemergence. The New World Order I am trying to outline on just Facebook, on YouTube, is the necessity to scientifically return to that technology, actually. We have an entire different layer of technology of 10,000 years ago that we used much differently. And with our modern understanding of how we use that much different technology, and how what we really kind of did is we fucked with it. We broke it. We made it worse and streamlined it into how we could produce it for the 7.7 billion of us. I figured out how to carve something that looks pretty rather than putting my emotional energy into it, where I am picking up a trinket that somebody gave to me as a gift. I'm buying a trinket as just, that was cool. Kind of the totem phenomenon. The totem phenomenon in the American Indian traditions, which is the totem phenomenon, of how we created all of these false tokens and placed them all over the place. And so I'm going through all of these false tokens. The James Usher on-off false token. It took 13 years. It's a legitimate James Usher on-off false token. Starting Monday, I'm going to handwrite the Bible from Exodus 33:11 and Deuteronomy 34:10. And beside them over here, I'm trying to figure this out because it's really just a bunch of you bracketed everything. I'm sorry, blow on this single page and flip to the page where you get your Darwin Award. It is the Bible. It's a 2-page thing. The Bible is but a 2-page thing around James Usher was a medieval oops. What went wrong? And 2,000 pages after that, if I was to take the time to type it, and I'm not going to. It's like, you're not going to believe me anyway. It's kind of neat. The world peace capacity is, I'm sorry, I have to explain to you, Mr. Swagger, how God's using you personally for me to record the takedown of the church I was baptized in. You personally. Using your record, Mr. Swagger, using your record. It's kind of neat. So I turned into Messiah Ben David, Mr. Swaggers. Thank you for keeping this in a book that broke the Mormon church also. And the King James Bible, I want to take it away from every human being. There's something wrong with the King James Bible. If in the year 2020, you personally could not tell it itself was a King James manuscript during the King James Middle Ages, you are personally kind of not in hell and in hell. The what you already know, kind of already. Everything is the same. Everything's not the same. I can't figure out anything, and nor am I supposed to. Because if world peace is possible, and it's not, because this website over here says God doesn't care about it, where it also says that God and Moses did not speak face to face, where it also says there's a mystical magic sermon without a warning label, we don't really know what we're talking about, and not warning that we're a Baptist mission cult on the internet. I don't know your guys' purpose. Do you have a question about God or theology or about the Bible or about using our delusional method? We think God medievally magically poofed. You using NASA's delusional method that apes invented writing in the year 3500 BC to calibrate this for me is NASA over here, where you're apes who deluded yourself into thinking you understood your participation in breaking the Bible yourself, and God saying fuck you to gotquestions.org. I'm sorry. I'm the heresy hunter that catches us because it's a tickling Mr. President Trump. We're $22 trillion in debt. This is more of a tickled newspaper article, please. I'm actually in the 13 years of this. Reason I did this, friend who joined, is not because of anything I understand. The reason I did this is I felt like I wanted to, and things kept falling into my laps, to be honest. So all of this falling into my lap and me continuing to seek it out began with the Dead Sea Scrolls. Everything bad mystical comes from a cave. The Zohar itself came from a cave and from a library. So when I picked up the Dead Sea Scrolls, a new collection, and I picked up a revised copy of the one I found in my garage in the mystical cave. But then I picked up Qumran studies, and I picked up more on the Quran. Then I picked up the Way of the Essenes. Then I picked up biogenic living, which is the Essene way. I need to teach you a little bit why John had a silk camel hair shirt, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the New Testament, which is you got royally fucked. The is Essene Gospel of Peace. It's not. You don't believe it's necessary. The Hidden Scrolls, Paul and the Qumran. You got royally fucked. Who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls? That's one I've had since I was that was my first one. And then Jesus, no, it wasn't the Dead Sea Scrolls Deception was my first one. Who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls came right after that. Jesus and the Essenes, the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Bible, the Dead Sea Scrolls. I have all of this research and it's all false because all of this research is a layer in time. With when did we retain James Ussher? The Dead Sea Scrolls uncovered. When did we retain James Ussher and why? That meant our church systems are broken. What are the Dead Sea Scrolls and why do they matter? That meant your Bible was subtracted from the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Christian origins. That means that you fabricated your origin. The Dead Sea Scrolls in English, that meant same thing. The Dead Sea Scrolls is one I found in my cave. James, the brother of Jesus, legend. Islam and the Quran, not for you. The Holy Quran, not for you. Go to Quran.com. The Holy Quran, not part of my correction. The Holy Quran, the Holy Quran. The Sufis, I'm that. I can't talk to a Mormon missionary because they're not Sufis. I can't talk to you because you don't understand meditation and Kabbalah. I can't talk to you because you do not use God as a verb and the practice of mystical Judaism. I can't talk to you because you don't understand Kabbalah with a Q. Origins of Kabbalah with a K. The way, the wisdom of Kabbalah for spiritual transformation and fulfillment has your modern 2020, which I think Madonna's on that one. The Kabbalah, the secret doctrine of the Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism. The legend of the wandering Jew. There's your legend of Jesus. The book of Enoch, of course, reference. The energy of the Hebrew letters, sages and dreamers. You're dreaming you understood the Bible at 6,000 years. Legends of the Bible. Adam and the tree and the Kabbalistic tree. Tales from the 1001 Nights. The legends of Baal Shem, which we were talking about earlier. Israel's concept of the beginning, scriptures of the oral Torah, which is why I have to explain I'm the heresy hunter that says no more. Did God have a wife? That's not even a legitimate question. Archaeology and folk religion in ancient Israel. Moses Maimonides, I can answer you that's not a legitimate question because of Moses Maimonides, the guide for the perplexed. I hope that does kind of perplex you. 72 names for God, the technology of the soul, the universal Kabbalah, the practical Kabbalah guidebook, which of course has a reminder of Sabbatai Savai 1666. Meditation, today's teachers, sir, share their practice techniques and faith. So how did you do what you did to accomplish the delusions you derived? The messianic idea in Judaism, Gershom Shalom, you have no awareness. The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus, Pistis Sophia, the Kabbalah, and of course, the Secret Book of John, the Gnostic, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Lost Years of Jesus. Well, I'm working with 400, bounce, everything's lost. The American Modern Library, the Talmud. I can't teach you the Talmud, the Talmud. You don't know the Talmud. You think it's bad. They don't know that you're bad. They don't know you exist. The missing books of the Bible, you know those exist. The missing books of the Bible, you knew those existed. The 400 more silent years, the essential Talmud, the gospel parallels. You have this entire weird tradition of confirming everything in this common ancestry. It's a bad. We can't figure out that nothing came from the same thing. And science and NASA scientists are taught that apes invented writing. And I am 6%, 5% remaining, 14 minutes. So I'll go on for about 2 more minutes and say thank you. So I have over 200,000 of these knowledge of friend who joined, where all of the Apocrypha. The four Gospels are a vacant shell to collate 200,000 pieces of things that we don't know what is inspired. We don't know what anything is. We actually all have to document it all and accept that as our correction. Is www.seventhangelscroll.com. And I'm doing this with a year promise that I actually think together with God Questions, if we just take this as a little okay, we opened our eyes. It'll take us a year. I am going to outline for us how it will only take us a year. God Questions, you get Australia, 65,000 years. I get, yeah, come on. Together we can do this. And then outline it for our Sparkies. Simply, and say, thank you. My father's name, his father's name was David. Thank you. You're welcome. Love you guys.